Hello, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 20, the big 2-0. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, where'd he go? Where's Alex?
What was that one?
No, I'm just kidding. Alex is KI, aka he's on what his people like to refer to as holiday. He's gone holiday.
Mhm.
Uh, for most of you out there, it means he's on vacation. Alex will be back hopefully next week. I think Alex is going to be back. But yeah, he's just off somewhere on a beach enjoying some tea and crumpets. And yeah, but with me as always, my friend to the end, Roots here. Roots, what's a crumpet?
I don't know what a crumpet is. I think it's a pastry of some sort. I think Alex is actually on a walkabout. Although I
He's on a
don't think
walk.
I guess he's not Australian, but he could be. I don't know.
All right. So neither of us know what crumpets are. If you know what crumpets are, leave it in the description or in the comments down below. Leave a comment. Let us know. And Alex, have a crumpet for me. Anyway, another week. Actually, kind of a slow week in uh, in the world of VR gaming news. But I did find a few interesting things to talk about here. So let's get into it. Of course, the big news this week, the first thing we're going to talk about is the thing that everyone's been talking about for a couple days now, and that's Dirt Rally 2.0 has finally come to VR. Of course, this is from Codemasters. It's a game that came out, I don't know, probably 6 or 8 months ago for PC, and uh, and initially it was not supposed to support VR, but people were all up in arms about it, uh, protesting, signing petitions to bring VR support along, and Codemasters finally relented. They said we will be bringing Dirt Rally 2.0 to Oculus sometime later this year, and now they have uh, they've proven true to their word. So on August 9th, this past Thursday, uh, Dirt Rally 2.0 came not only to the Oculus Store, but to Steam as well. So this is supported for Vive and Index as well as Oculus Rift. That was a bit of a surprise. Um, what's an even bigger surprise is that this game kind of seems to be exclusive to both platforms, meaning that obviously you can't take your Vive or your Index and go onto the Oculus store and play Dirt Rally 2. But also, if you take your Rift and go to try to play the Steam version, it plays, but it doesn't play very well. A lot of people complaining about jittery uh, and just overall poor performance from this game in Steam. Um, Roots. So we talked about this game a while back, and we basically came to the conclusion that we felt like we're obligated now to buy this game. Uh, we signed petitions, we complained, the devs gave us what we asked for, and now here it is. But this is a $60 game. Are you going to drop $60 for this thing?
No, no. I could get it on a sale. I don't know. I haven't got confirmation yet from Alex or anybody else whether you can get that dude out of the fucking seat. I don't know why. I just don't want him with me. I don't care if the turns are harder. I'm not listening to all his jibber jabber anyway. It's just he. I really want him out of my cab, and he needs to get the fuck out of there. But yeah, $60 is a little steep. I don't know. I'm torn because like what you said is exactly true. Like we bitched, we moaned, we wanted it in VR. We said we're gonna petition, we're gonna boycott, we're gonna picket and do something to your firstborn child. Whatever we can do, we want it in VR. And then ooh, it's $60. So maybe I should buy it for 60. I don't know.
I don't know, man. That's steep for me. That's 2 to 3 great VR games.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Uh, I mean, we just got Defector for $20,
Yeah.
and they want that's three copies of Defector. Um, So yeah, it's a little much for me. I get it. It's a flat game, and this is kind of the norm with newer flat games. And I still kind of feel like I'll probably end up buying it, but I'm not going to buy it right now when it's new. You know, you can pick up Dirt Rally, the first one, on sale for $10 and $15 regularly. And from what I understand, this game is very similar to the first one. It's not very different. There are improvements in areas, but even the DLC for this game, it's a lot of just the same tracks and stuff from Dirt Rally 1. Did that surprise you? Did you hear people say that a lot of the tracks and everything was exactly the same from Dirt Rally 1?
Yeah, that does surprise me. I know that they said there were improvements, that I guess the weight is different. Alex was saying it feels a lot better. And a couple of people in the Discord were saying the same thing. I don't know. I'm just it's it's not a game that I have really been into too much, but I probably would try it out. But let me ask you this, because we touched on this a few weeks ago when it came to AAA titles, right? And we were saying that when they start putting out AAA titles, we need to get more used to paying the AAA price. And this is a AAA title, and like, I guess at what point do we accept that we're going to pay more? Because people were bitching that Defector was too cheap before they even tried it. Opposite of what I would have expected. So it's so bizarre. Like the whole concept, like I'm torn. I like, even myself as I'm talking about it, I don't even know where the fuck I stand. You know what I mean? It's just such a weird topic, because I feel like we should pay the full price, but I'm cheap. So
I think it's a reflection of the genre. You know, this is a racing game, and the people who play these sorts of games, a good majority of them are heavily into this stuff. Not only are they okay with paying $60 for the game, but they're dropping two, three, $400 on accessories just to play these types of games. And really, the cost has been the biggest barrier for me into getting into these kind of games, because I want to play them, but I want to play them right. You know, I want a wheel, I want pedals, I want a stick shift, I want the entire experience. But I'm just not willing to go throw $200 and $300 down to get that. Um,
that makes
what about
sense.
you?
Yeah, so let me ask you this then. If you suddenly had the wheel, the pedals and everything, like you had a full setup, like I'm talking the rig and everything, as far as the frame, would you be inclined to say $60? Would you, I mean, even saying this, it would assume that it would not seem like as much, like, because you're already invested, you've already spent 500-600 bucks, $60 because you're already really going to get to play it the way it should be, you know?
Right, right. Well, yeah, and not only that, but the experience that you would be buying then for $60 would be so much more enhanced and immersive than the experience that you or I would be buying for $60. So
True.
yeah, I probably would. Like if I had a Feel 3 motion simulator, uh, I would probably buy this up. I probably would already have it. Probably wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd probably be playing it. And let's be honest, that's probably where Alex is at right now, right?
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
probably playing Dirt Rally.
That's his vacation. He's just racing. He's just going to spend a week playing racing, right?
Right, right. I get that's probably what happened, man. He's probably just he saw that this game was coming out and he's like, you know what? It's time to play.
That's right.
Um, I don't blame him. If I had his setup, I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm jealous of his setup. Actually, I even Mamefan I saw in his most recent video of this game, he had a setup as well. So now
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel like I should have a steering wheel.
yeah, I'm gonna have to start watching Craigslist and eBay, man, because I really do want it. I'm just not willing to throw down a couple of bills on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I think that this is one of those items that if you watch Craigslist long enough, it's going to pop up, and you can probably get a pretty fair price on this stuff. if someone needs money. You know what I mean?
True.
Anyway, moving on. Dirt Rally 2.0, not the only big AAA title news that we got this week. There was news of another 2.0, and that being No Man's Sky 2.0. And yeah, I know what you're saying. I hear you out there. You're saying, Weasel, don't you mean No Man's Sky Beyond? Yes, I do. But as we reported earlier on this show, the No Man's Sky Beyond update was multifaceted. They claimed three main facets for their update. One being VR support, of course. Two being expanded multiplayer features. And three being a third mystery thing that was getting updated. So we found out this week what that third thing is, and it's what they're calling No Man's Sky 2.0. And it isn't really a specific feature, but more an umbrella term for a set of features and enhancements that they're putting into this game that really are still kind of undefined. They told us about a few of them, but most of this stuff, they're saying people are just going to have to get in here and find it for themselves, which I think is pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that they have told us about that are going to be included in the 2.0 update. Let's see here. They've added in a creature riding feature. So these animals that inhabit these planets, some of them you're going to be able to tame and ride on their back, like horses or donkeys or something. They've added cooking in, so not only are you going to be eating and drinking to survive, but you're going to be able to prepare your meals. They've expanded the base building aspects of the game, and they're adding in community objectives. So they're going to be adding in goals and things for the entire community to work toward together, just as to add even more replayability to what is already an infinitely replayable game. Roots, I keep going back and forth on this game. On the one hand, it seems like a game that would take too much time really to get into fully and enjoy it the way it's meant to be enjoyed. But on the other hand, they keep adding so much to this game that it more and more it seems like something that I might want to spend all of my time in, and actually end up putting more time than I actually have into playing this game. What do you think about it? Do these new features and updates and the element of mystery, knowing that there's more stuff that you're going to be able to discover, is this game growing on you the way it is on me?
It was already growing on me, and now it's growing even more. And I'm watching the footage, and I'm looking at that grass, and it's so beautiful. And if it translates the way that I think it's going to, I think this is going to be like the best AAA experience or game that will be out there. And just everything you're talking about, the community stuff, it's looking like a legit MMO almost. You know, you throw some quests in and a few bosses, and you got No Man's Sky, World of Warcraft, or no, I don't know. It's just it looks amazing, and I'm really psyched. We've got less than a week now. I think is it next Friday, right?
Yeah, so yeah, next week. I'm not quite sure what day it was on, but it is next week.
Yeah, I thought it was Friday. I don't know. All I know is that it just looks so good. The gameplay, the fact that you actually get to use your hands to control with legit controls. They took the time to put legit VR controls in there. I just think these developers made it their goal to turn everything around. And like I've said before, this was a shitstorm on opening day. A meme. Everybody swore they would never play this game, and now it's the most anticipated VR game that I know of this year. So.
It's great, man. It's great that what they're doing here, essentially, is they're fulfilling their initial promises that they made all those years ago. They're giving us the game that they said that they would give us. I mean, it's taken this long for the technology and for the years and years of man hours that they put into developing this thing, but it's finally starting to realize their initial vision. And I think it's just awesome. Not only that they're actually accomplishing that, but they're accomplishing something that's even more difficult in many ways, and that is they're changing the narrative around their game. Like you said, this game was a joke a month after it released, and once the narrative is out on your game, a negative opinion from everyone, it's hard to turn that around. You don't see it happen very often, and to see how far this game has come is really a testament to the work ethic of the people at Hello Games, and it's just it's really cool to see, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be it could be a good draw for VR as well. You know, a lot of people maybe they've got the PC version and they're playing it and they think, fuck man, you know, Joe's got it on VR and he's telling me how awesome it is. And then they go out and they pick up the headset, you know. Um and look at that, man. Like that you watch somebody ride by on a mount. I can't imagine what it's gonna look like to be in there. Now this is I don't know. I guess is it all you're in first person as well in the game, right? Or is it all third person?
Yeah, I think it's first person. I think what you may I was wondering the same thing looking at this trailer myself. So I think that it's probably a toggle, like some other games. You
Okay.
can toggle the point of view. If I mean that's what it looks like. I mean you just got into your ship there and you're following the ship, but we happen to know for a fact that you can steer your ship using the controls in first person mode.
Hmm.
So I'd say you can toggle it in the settings. That would be my assumption,
Okay. Yeah, actually,
which is cool.
yeah, that is cool. Like we've said about uh Hellblade and other games, you know, having that option is really nice actually. So,
And that little area there that you see at the end of that trailer, that's let's see, what did they call that? That's kind of it's a community hub. I forget what the name of the thing is, but they've added this area, this base, kind of like a central base for all players to come into and get to know one another. That's one of the new features that they've added in.
it's
I guess
just
that's where you'll go to meet up with people, and when they release their community goals, I'd say that that's where you'll get them from, is that place there.
it's just so cool because like I said from the beginning, like that was the biggest bitch. Like they said they promised you could meet up with your friends, you know, and like people legitimately tried to go and find each other and they couldn't because you couldn't. It was the lie, or they hadn't gotten that far yet. So now they've got this community area, and I don't know. I just think it's so cool. And I can't wait to check out the different animals, different environments. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
a treat for VR.
yeah, it's a great thing. It's an infinite universe full of infinite number of planets, environments, and animals. And if that isn't good enough, you can bring your friends. And that's just awesome. Uh, because, I've said many times here that I like to play multiplayer with my family, but we struggle to find things to play because we get into Farpoint, we beat Farpoint. We get into Arizona Sunshine, we beat Arizona Sunshine. This game has no end, and that for that reason alone, it has a ton of value in my household. And yeah, the more time goes by and the more I think about this game, the more my anticipation grows for it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. All right, this past week saw the release of some other games as well, one of which being Ninja Legends. Now, this is a game that actually released a while back. It released on in early access on Steam on July 11th, but this past week on August 8th, it released on Quest, Oculus Rift, and Viveport Infinity as well. This is a wave-based game but it's wave-based ninja fighting. So you in this game you're fighting waves of enemies from 360 degrees all around you. You using a vast variety of different weapons and skills and abilities. The gameplay is fast-paced, and it puts an emphasis on defense as well as offense. It's kind of they've implemented some scoring system, so it's kind of arcadey in that sense, where you're trying to score, but it's not just based on killing. The defense, as I mentioned, is also part of the scoring criteria. You have different supernatural abilities they call like shinobi mode, which is kind of like a bullet time, and there are rewards for chaining together multiple kills, and you also can unlock other objective based gameplay modes. So when I first saw the trailer for this, I kind of dismissed it just based on the fact that it's wave based. But the more I look at it, I realize this isn't a wave shooter. It isn't a shooter at all. The more I see it and the more I read about this, this seems like a pretty original concept for a game, and it seems like it might be pretty fun. Did you see the latest trailer for this when it released this week, Roots? And is this something that you're looking at maybe trying out?
It is actually. When I was downloading these clips, I was looking at this. I was like, "Wow, this actually looks pretty good." I almost bought it if it wasn't rent week, and I didn't just pick up a Go XLR. I was gonna pick it up, but I want to try it. It looks I play a flat game. It's called One Finger or Two Fingers, One Finger, One Punch, or I don't know what, something like that. And literally, it's just a side scroller, and people are coming at you from both directions, and you're doing all these kung fu moves and different stuff, and it's really actually oddly fun. And I think this would be along that same level. And then you've got Wolverine claws and just all sorts of shit. You're changing to bows and slicing people, and you got all sorts of things coming at you. I just think it's one of those things that if we just say, wave shooter, wave slicer, we might miss a good game. I don't know. Like, it could be really good. And I think we're getting to the point where we're going to start finding a lot of these type of games where they're thinking outside the box, and it may be a wave slicer, shooter, or a scorpion. Get over here. I mean, all this shit. It looks really cool. I do want to try it.
Yeah, that's me. I just, like I said, I dismissed this when they put the launch trailer out. But looking at it and actually taking an objective look at this game and what it is, it looks like it has a lot of variety in the gameplay, not only in the weapons but in the modes as well. And it looks like it's just based around having fun. It just looks fun to slice this stuff down. For example, when I look at this next to the Until You Fall trailer, Until You Fall being a much more heavily anticipated game, but this game looks funner to me than that game does. This looks a lot more fast paced, and it looks like there's a lot more you can do as far as abilities and weapons. And I'm definitely going to try this out. This, like I said, this is on Viveport Infinity now, so I don't even have to pay for it. That's to go play it. So definitely more to come on this one. I'm not sure if we'll end up doing a full review on it or not, but definitely we'll come back and give our impressions on it. It's from Coin Flip Studios. It's $20 on all platforms right now, and it's gotten positive reviews. People say it's good. So definitely going to try this one out. Moving on, this wasn't the only ninja-based VR news we got this week. We also got some Sairento news. specifically Sairento Untethered. So this is a game that came out a couple of months ago on June 27th from Mixed Realms. $15. So far, I think this is only on Oculus Quest, but I did notice it on Viveport the other day. So I imagine this is probably going to be coming to Vive Focus at some point as well. It doesn't say that, but when you're in Viveport, it always tells you what headsets are supported. And when I looked for this game, I looked at the supported headsets, and it had 0 headsets listed.
Hmm.
So obviously they aren't going to have Quest games on Viveport. So I imagine that this is going to be on Vive Focus at some point. But anyway, when this was announced, I thought this was just a watered down Sairento. You know, the same game with some watered down graphics and maybe some missing levels. But as it turns out, this is pretty much a different game. Even though in scale, this game is much smaller than the PC and PlayStation VR version, this game pretty much has all exclusive maps and some exclusive enemies as well. It's got mostly exclusive maps, some exclusive enemies, and similar gameplay mechanics to the full version. So since it was scaled back in size, they launched it at a reduced price, $15, like I said. But now the developer Mixed Realms has announced that they're coming out with monthly DLC packs for this game. So every month from now through November, they're going to release a new DLC pack every month with a new map and a new weapon. So as small as this game is now, it's going to be growing. And they also said in addition to these paid DLC packs, which for the record are $3 each, they're also going to be adding free maps in as well. So this game, really the only criticism of it was that it was too small. Now it's going to be growing, probably doubling in size, to be honest, between the free DLC and the paid DLC. So yeah, we have an all new Sairento game for Quest. Ruuts, you've often said that one of the reasons why you don't have a Quest yet is that there aren't any exclusives for it. Anything that you can get on Quest, you can get and play it on the Rift, and it'll be better on the Rift. But here we have the Sairento developer giving us the same game, but a different version. New maps, new enemies, new weapons. Pretty much a new game. Would you like to see more stuff like this on Quest? And if so, would it be enough, you think, to get you to finally break down and buy a Quest?
Yeah, if it was the right titles. Like I've got this game and it's actually really cool. I don't know what the differences are on the Quest. I think it would be a good game for mobility, the untethered, the no wires, that whole thing. I mean, legit, if you can slice around and you got a huge area and you know that nothing's around you, and compared to my little square I have that keeps shrinking as I grow my podcast stuff. I think it would be, not this game per se, but yeah, that the premise, if, you get enough games that are out there that I start to think, well, wow, there's 3 or 4 games that I could play a different version, maybe a different version of Moss or whatever. I mean, I think it would be really wise from Oculus's standpoint to maybe push some developers to do that, or maybe make an exclusive game that's 6 months Quest exclusive, or a year, or maybe forever. Some other reason. I mean, there's just not enough of a pull for me right now. Like you said, because I can play everything with the exception of the couple levels of Untethered that are different. But yeah. So
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. This is precisely what Nintendo used to do when they had a separate handheld and home console. So they were like, for example, they released new Super Mario Brothers on Wii, and they also released new Super Mario Brothers on the DS. It's the same title, but it's a different game. The levels are different. It's built in the same engine, but the mobile version is scaled back so that it can run on a mobile platform. This is essentially what these Sairento guys are doing, and I think that this is uh, precisely the type of thing that the Quest needs. Uh, it's hard for me to think of what kind of games are on there right now. I'm kind of drawing a blank, but games like Angry Birds, for example, if they had some other levels, or I mean, how simple is that game? The environments don't change much. It's
Hmm.
just the structures. It's just new puzzles. It wouldn't be anything for those guys to develop some new puzzles for that game, and you would have the same game, but a different version. But there you go, some original content for the Quest. So yeah, I think it would be uh, a great idea to see more of this type of stuff, and hopefully we will.
Hmm.
Um, Sairento is a game I always thought looked cool. I played it once. I've spent maybe an hour in it, and I thought it was okay. But I really need to spend more time in it because they make a great trailer. I'll give them that. Every time I watch a Sairento trailer, I'm like, man, I need to play that game. But it always looks like the player who's playing in the trailer is a lot better than I am at it because I wasn't able to do all this
That,
crap
that's what
in
it
the
comes
out.
down to is like if you can do all those moves, you're jumping off of walls and you're flipping around like Neo and doing all sorts of really cool shit. It is so much more fun and it is more you do it. They have a multiplayer or co-op as well. But yeah, it's I think you should definitely give it more of a shot because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, that's another thing. I'm glad you said that they did mention that they are going to be adding a multiplayer mode into this game. So I don't know. Does the original Sairento even have multiplayer on it?
Yeah, it has co-op. I think it's a little bit different. So I played it with my buddy Sean Zom, and he we played it, and it was not the actual game. It was like just co-op modes, kind of like what was that other game that we played? I don't know, but yeah, it's I think it's different.
Yeah, I think if that's kind of cool. Actually, I think if I could get into this thing with a friend, that I may have a little bit more patience and spend a little more time in it and maybe learn some of these moves. I thought it was fun, but it was a lot clunkier the gameplay was than what I see in all this footage and stuff. But it looks cool. I definitely would like to get a little deeper into it and see some of these other maps because, like I said, it looks really fun.
Hmm.
But kudos to Mixed Realms uh, for releasing an original game in
Yeah,
the same engine. So yeah, definitely one to keep an eye out on. And up until recently, I kind of thought that this was the same game. So it's actually something that I may consider picking up now. Even, especially since it's just $15.
yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah, it's not much. All right, but moving on. Let's see here. Okay, so we just mentioned uh, Angry Birds for the Quest. We're getting a new game upcoming from the developer of the Angry Birds Isle of Pig game. Resolution Games is the developer, and recently at E3 they announced their newest game, Acron. Acron Attack of the Squirrels. And you may want to call it Acorn because you see there's a giant acorn there. And this game is all about protecting the acorns. But the name of this game actually is Akron. It's not a typo. I didn't just read it wrong.
Mhm.
This game is called Akron Attack of the Squirrels. Okay, so like I said, we learned about this game during E3, and it's a very unique concept, unlike anything else that we've seen in VR so far. So what this is a multiplayer game that pits one VR player against a group of players who are playing along on their mobile phone, as you can see there in the trailer. So you play as the tree, the VR player plays as the tree, and you're basically just trying to keep these squirrels from taking your acorns. And you can pick things up and throw at them. You can pick them up and throw them.
Hmm.
And it seems like a cool concept for a party game. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Kudos to Resolution Games for sticking to what they're good at. They're good at these party game type things, these mobile, these games that look like they come from a mobile platform. But they play, if it plays anything like Angry Birds, it's going to be butter smooth. The graphics are going to be very colorful and clean. And I thought that this was a promising looking title. Anyway, they announced this past week that they're going to be releasing this game this month, August 29th. And I'm interested. What about you, Roots? Is this something that you were interested in before? And do you think you may be checking it out when it releases later this month?
My problem is, like, who am I gonna play it with? I can't get my kid. Like, if they were, I could bribe my kids to come play with me or something. I'm starting to get to that point where they're like, I'm that guy. Like, oh, he's gonna bother me about VR. Maybe I shouldn't go over there. So yeah, I think in a party setting, or in, like, if in your case, I guarantee you, your wife, your son, daughters, you guys will have a heyday. And this would be something that the younger ones could play along, and you don't have to worry about them having the headset on because they're not supposed to be in VR, right? So they get to be a part of it. I mean, I think it's really cool. Maybe not for me, but what I wish, and maybe it'll be available, but, like, let me be the tree against other people online that are on their phone, or something. Why does it have to be local? Like, at some
Does
point,
it though? Does it though? That's the question. Does
yeah,
it have to be local?
I hope not. If it's not local, then I probably would be more inclined to try it or pick it up. Because I could go in there and I could own a bunch of people on their phone, or they can, totally steal all my nuts.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right, but you know, it's it looks cool, and like you said, I think the graphics will be sharp and colorful, and it'll be pretty cool to try. So it'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. It definitely looks like it's a Resolution Games title. They, like I said, they brought us the Angry Birds Isle of Pigs game. They also brought us the Bait, the free Oculus Quest title, and everything they've done so far has been high quality. I expect that this will also be very high quality. But yeah, the questions you raised are pretty much the exact same questions that I have. Is this going to be a game that where there is a uh, an online server where mobile players can buy into it, or that's another question I have. Is this going to be a free app for the mobile side, or are the mobile players going to have to buy this app to put on their phone? If this ends up being something that's free, that a mobile player can log into and play, knowing that they're playing against some dude halfway across the room who's actually in VR. I mean, that's actually a very cool concept
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it. Somebody who can just go into the Google Play Store or the Apple uh, the Apple iStore, whatever it's called, the App Store, and pick up a free game that actually pits you against someone else who's playing on an entirely different platform, playing on a console or playing on a PC in VR. I mean, that's a completely unique idea. And if that's what this is, man, this game has a lot of potential and it could go viral, uh, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
And we could see millions of people very quickly in the servers of this game just playing on mobile. And the VR players could be in such a short demand for it that maybe we see the price drop quickly on this one. You know what I mean? If it gets to the point where they're making money on mobile through either advertising or microtransactions, and they need VR players to be the tree, we could see the price of this drop dramatically on the VR platform. So I think it's a great idea. I think that it's smart for these developers to be able to sell their game in multiple platforms, and it's a very unique idea. And I'm looking forward. I, for one, am looking forward to checking it out when it comes out, and if it truly is what we have just described here.
That would be cool because think about it. Like, if you've never been in VR and you're playing this game and you're running your squirrel and you like start out and you see the tree and they're like dancing or waving or like legit doing stuff that a game wouldn't do, and you're like, whoa, that's a person. I just think might click with some people and like, well, I want to be the tree. It's good for VR. I'm hoping that's what it is. My instinct is it's local. And Roots is going to be disappointed, but it's an Acron game. Yeah, it's definitely unique. I give them kudos for that alone. When I first saw it, I thought, man, what the fuck is this? But it's definitely outside the box, and that's what VR games are starting to need to be. The days of just pumping out some shitty ass wave shooter or puzzle game room to room isn't going to cut it. It needs to have a twist. So,
right. Okay. So I think what we need to do here is maybe reach out to the developers for some more information here on how exactly the online aspect of this game is going to be structured.
and some keys.
Yeah, really. Yeah, maybe so. I mean, if you want to review it, then I probably probably should ask for some review keys here. So stay tuned. More info coming for sure. Possibly a review coming up on this. This game's coming out very soon. As I mentioned, it comes out on the 29th of August from Resolution Games. Coming out on Steam, Rift, and Quest. No word on PSVR yet, but obviously, especially if it's the game as we just described it, they're going to want as many VR players as they can get. Because it makes a big difference from the mobile gamer standpoint. Playing against a real person versus playing against a bot, totally different experience. So definitely going to reach out for more information and hopefully some review access as well. But moving on, this isn't the only fun multiplayer game we got news on this week. Ivanovich Games tweeted out yesterday about their new game, Touring Karts. This is a game that was released, or actually it was announced during E3, during the Upload VR E3 VR showcase. It's a Mario Kart game built for VR, essentially. And I think actually, I'm not sure, this may have a flat version as well, so that you don't have to play in VR, but it's designed to be played in VR. Anyway, we knew this game was coming, and surprisingly, yesterday, or I guess a couple of days now, at the time that this airs, this game showed up in the Oculus Rift store, available for sale. And Ivanovich Games immediately takes to Twitter, informing people of this mistake and asking them, please do not buy this game. The multiplayer isn't quite working. It's not finished yet. This game was released by mistake. Please don't buy it. So, through this happy mistake from Oculus, which was promptly corrected, I might add, it was only up for a few hours. Then it was taken down. But it was a happy mistake because now we know that this game is coming very soon, and we got some information on it that we probably wouldn't have otherwise gotten had this mistake not been made. So first of all, this is Ivanovich Games. For those of you who don't know, these are the people who brought us Operation Warcade. I think they also had a game called Beat Blaster that came out recently. Uh, a team with a lot of experience in VR. We'll just say that. Some very good games. And this game looks like it could be the best out of all of them. They did announce this week that it will be releasing on Steam September 5th, so not that long to wait, and PSVR support coming soon thereafter in October and November. No word on Quest. Actually, I think at the moment, their Quest application, like many other games, has been denied, but it's an ongoing thing. It's a process to get into the Quest store. So don't give up just yet. This game will be coming, or they will be continuing to attempt to get this game on the Quest store. We also learned that this game is going to release at $20, but they're looking at maybe having a release window discount, something small, 10, 15, 20% off for those early adopters of the game. Roots, this game looks really cool to me. I've thought this game looked cool since the moment they announced it. We had the VR Karts game already, but that was a mobile port. Wasn't really built for VR and didn't get very good reviews. This, on the other hand, looks very cool. Looks like something that we all want to do, and that is play Mario Kart in VR. So what do you think about it? Is this something that you're thinking that you may maybe want to play when it gets released?
Fuck yeah, dude. I want to play it right now. I love Mario Kart. I played that the hell out of the original on the Super Nintendo. I've played every version. Had my jump turns perfected. Used to rock everybody. Did the Rainbow Road better than everybody else. It looks really cool. The atmosphere, the things that you get to see, like even that monkey slamming shit down. And you nailed it. Like Operation Warcade, when you picked that, you picked that for that game that one week, right?
Mm-hmm.
It blew me away. Like it was so cool, and the way they did it, it makes me really excited to see what they're gonna do with this game. And I just, again, I just ran into a customer the other day as I was talking about VR, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I tried the gear or that one." They said the one with the phone, and there's just not any games out. And I just started, like, I spent the next 20 minutes schooling the dude, saying, "Look, dude, this, I felt like grabbing him and smacking him and shaking him around, like, we're here, dude, like, we're here. We've got Ivanovich Games making this amazing Mario like game. I don't care if it's Mario or not. It looks like every Mario game I've ever played, and it's, looks cool."
Yeah, yeah. Nobody plays Mario Kart for the characters. It's all about the gameplay in that game. And this looks very similar. They even have question mark blocks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a little questionable. They may not, they may not get away with that one. But no, I think this game looks awesome. Hopefully, it runs as smoothly as it looks in this footage here. But yeah, I've been looking forward to this one since they announced it. Definitely going to be playing this one. Hopefully, we'll get early access to it and can bring a review day one on this game. But yeah, so these mistakes sometimes turn out to be a blessing in disguise. This definitely turns out to be a case of that. Whereas before this game was coming soon, now we know exactly when it's coming in just a few short weeks. We know how much it's going to cost. We know what platforms it's coming to. We have a lot more information thanks to this happy mistake from the team over there at Oculus.
Let
So
me ask. Oh, sorry. Let me ask you this. Do you think that maybe it might be a marketing thing? Like, oh, we accidentally released it. Like everybody, it's released. Don't buy it, please. Don't buy it. It's it. Part of me feels like it's a brilliant marketing way to get the game out there and talked about. Like we're talking about it. I saw Anthony talking about it the other day on VR 365. What do you think
I mean, I
about
guess
that?
it could. Yeah, I don't think Oculus would collude with a developer like that unless it was like a big developer or something. In that case, they wouldn't even need to. But you know, I'm not a game developer, but I'm sure that if Ivanovich Games wanted to, they could intentionally submit an early date, and then when it gets released on the store, they could say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wait! It's not supposed to be on there today," and then pull it back. You know what
Mm.
I mean?
There's a
Uh,
lot going on in marketing, and I just, to me, it's like they've got free publicity. It's a little less than a month before it comes out. It's getting everybody talking about it. We're getting to see all the cool spinning monkey shit that's going on there. It. I just think that it could be that. It could be an honest mistake, but it seems weird. Like if you didn't want people to go out and download it, you wouldn't say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You would keep your mouth shut, and then after it was pulled, you'd say, oh, hey, this is what happened.
it kind of it makes sense to in a way though because we all know how quickly this
People
VR
shit.
community can turn on a game if it has any problems whatsoever.
True.
So I'm sure that Ivanovich is aware of that as well. And they probably just didn't want this thing getting out there with broken multiplayer and having people shit all over it and leave bad reviews before it's even released. You
Yeah.
know.
True.
So it's hard to say. It didn't seem like a ploy to me, mainly because they didn't come right out and say, okay, it's going to release on X day for X amount of dollars. I had to ask them how much is it going to cost, and another content creator had to ask them, okay, when's it going to be out? So yeah, it didn't seem staged. If it is staged, they did a very good job of it.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
I'm just a conspiracy theorist, I guess.
I
So
am too, man. I'm always, uh, I don't believe in coincidences. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I get you. I feel you. But this game, again, looks awesome. Looking forward to playing it. Definitely more to come on the Virtual Strangers channel about this one.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we're moving through the topics quickly this week. I wonder why. Uh, all right. So here's something we need to talk about. And it's something we touched on before on previous episodes, and that is the PSVR summer sale. This sale started a couple of weeks ago and is going to be going on for another week or two. And the way this sale goes is Sony adds to it every week. And initially, I wasn't very impressed with the deals that were going on in the North American store. But a week has gone by, they've added a few deals. Another week goes by, they've added a few more. And now we've got a pretty impressive little sale going on here. So, as we like to do so often when these occasions arise, we've got a few picks for you. Great games, uh, great prices, things we think that you should own at the price that they're being offered for currently. So I'll go ahead and throw it on over to Roots. Roots, were there any games that are on sale right now that you think that these people need to be picking up if they don't already have them?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything on this list at some point you could look at and say, man, that's a good game. There's actually a lot of good games on there. And then I look at it and I say, it's not that many good choices, but then I forget that I own almost every one of them. So that's why I look at that list that way. But what really stood out for me the most was for two different reasons. The first one was Pixel Ripped 1989. And man, that is such an experience, such a nostalgic side scroller, unique game that for 12.50, man, you need to pick that up. Like you need to pick it up now today if you haven't played it. I think it's different than any other game that I've played in VR. It was so good, and I loved it. The other one, I guess I'll group them together too because they're for the same reason. Um, they're aim controller games. One of them is Farpoint, and we were discussing this. I was even saying to Wes, I said, "Yeah, it's $10, but that doesn't take into consideration the aim controller." And he made a good point. He said, if you're a PSVR owner and you don't have an aim controller, Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why? Like, that's like people buy games just for that controller. Um, so that would be the first one. Would be Farpoint, an amazing game, $10. What a steal! And then the second one was Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is one of the most AAA experiences they have on the PlayStation VR, and you get to use the aim controller as well with it. Comedy, it's got everything. So those three games, I would say, in my opinion, definitely should be on your purchase list if you are a PSVR owner and you don't own them already.
Yeah, I 100% agree with all of those. Borderlands 2, everyone knows, is it's a well-known game. It's been out for a long time, but $25 for that one, I think, is like half off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you're not going to find a better price for Borderlands 2 anytime soon. Uh, Farpoint for $10. Again, this game, it released for $50, and it came out 2 years ago, but it still holds up. Is probably one of my top three favorite games. I love Farpoint so much. Tons of replayability in that game. You can play with a friend. You can play by yourself. $10. I mean, they're just giving it away now. And your other game was Pixel Ripped. Yeah, like you said, uh, unique. We were talking about Akron a minute ago and about how that game is going to be interesting just based upon the unique concept. Well, that's what you've got here with Pixel Ripped, a completely unique concept. Not only is the gameplay fun, but there's a sense of the novelty of the game is unlike anything else, and the nostalgia that you feel going into it, unparalleled. So all good picks. I've got a few myself here. Games, again, all of these are must-own games in my opinion. If you don't own these games, you should, and the sale price is just a bonus. So first of all, we've got a game that we just did a review on last week, and that was Intruders Hide and Seek. And Roots and I both recommended this game. It's a story-driven stealth game. One of the better instances of storytelling that I've experienced in VR. An awesome story. We both recommended it, like I said, at full price. We told you then if you see it on sale, definitely pick it up. And here we are a week later. It's on sale. $13. Definitely pick it up. Transference, another game that we have recently reviewed on this channel. Again, a game that goes on sale a lot, but you'll never find it for less than $10, which is what it's on sale for here. $10. This game probably has the best production values of any game I've ever played. Absolutely beautiful from an audio visual standpoint. Another unique game and another example of great storytelling. So all of these check boxes get marked off with this one. The only drawback of the game being, of course, that it's short. It's about the length of a really good movie. But again, another must-own game and a steal for $10. Moving on, we've got Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, a launch title for the PlayStation VR, but a great introductory title for people who are new to VR because you play this game, it's seated and it's on rails. So you don't have to worry about movement. The game does the moving for you. And it's just so fun. I still go back to this game all the time. Perfect tracking for the move controllers, one-to-one tracking, full body rendered out in VR, and creep factor 10. Absolutely terrifying at points during this game. Very high quality game, done very well, and it's still at $7.50. A must own. Again, another must own. I got two more. Another game you hear me talk about frequently on this channel, Here They Lie. And we've been talking about originality in games. You're not going to find a game more original than Here They Lie. It is a dark story, but it isn't all horror. There's scary parts in it, but they come and go. There are uh, relative periods of peace as you make your way through this campaign. There are just scary parts in it. The whole thing kind of has a dark theme, and some of the scary parts are absolutely terrifying. But there's a lot more going on here. This game it is just a walking simulator, but it's the best walking simulator I've ever experienced. Um, a lot going on here with the story, a lot of symbolism going on in the environments and the storytelling here, and yeah, one of my favorite games. Another must own, and you can own it for $7. So again, beans. When it comes to video game pricing, $7 is nothing. All right, one more. In my opinion, the greatest game that I've ever played. My favorite game. You see it on the screen right there. Resident Evil 7. An okay game, flat. The best game ever when played in VR.
Coming to Epic.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
This game is so good that I would buy it and pay full price for it a second time if it were to come to PC, just because I would love to see how these already beautifully rendered environments would look on the PC. And yes, I know you can play the flat version using Vorpex. It's not the same as the VR mode, and yeah, just an absolutely great game. AAA, you know, the best example of a AAA game we have in VR is this game on PlayStation VR. You can pick it up for $17. That's a steal for it, and yeah, 100% recommend from me. Were you saying something, Roots, here?
Oh no, I just I would buy it again full price as well. But you know, just to be able to use it and be able to super sample that game the hell out would be awesome. So
Yeah, it's a awesome game. Every time I think about it, makes me want to go back in and play it more. So I'm sure some of you are wondering why I haven't covered it on my channel, why I haven't played through it. That's coming.
mm.
October is soon coming. I wanted to give Mr. Roots here a chance to finish it on his own, but
I don't know.
it's tough, right?
It's I don't know if it's gonna happen. I mean, I'm gonna try to do it, but I do remember what I was gonna say is you know, like on the Vorpex thing, because I know Alex is pretty good at doing that, and I know Jarillo is amazing at it. So like I was gonna say, and not everybody's a Jarillo as far as Vorpex goes. I've tried. It's janky as hell for me. But I have no doubt that Alex and Drillo actually know what the hell they're doing, and they are probably experiencing things that I wish I could. I don't have the patience to do Vorpex. I own it, but I just don't prefer not to use it.
And to be clear, what the only issues with the game on PlayStation VR, the textures are extremely high detailed, rendered out beautifully, but there is some shimmer, there's some aliasing in this game, but it's absolutely gorgeous. One of the best looking PlayStation VR games, but this is a classic Resident Evil 7 game in VR. Absolutely terrifying. Uh, I'm sure Roots would have made a lot more progress in it if it weren't so terrifying. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, more coverage to come from him, and I'm going to be doing a full playthrough of it on my channel coming up in October. You're going to see a lot more horror coverage, just like on everyone else's channel. I know I don't like to do what everyone else does, but it's too perfect the month of October is the time for horror games. So that's when you're going to see me playing Resident Evil 7. And if you don't own it, $17, 100% worth it. Buy it now. I would recommend you buy that game over any of the other ones that we've just mentioned here. But that said, they're all must-owns. So pick them all up.
Yep.
All right, the only other PlayStation VR game I want to mention before we move on here, as we mentioned last week, the PlayStation Plus free games have gone up this week. Sniper Elite 4 being one of them, and the other one being Wipeout Omega Collection. One of the best games, period, in VR. The best VR racing game. That seems to be the consensus amongst most of the people who have played it, included with your PlayStation Plus subscription this month. So do it now. Do it now while you're thinking about it. Otherwise, you're going to think about, or you're going to forget about it, and then you're going to be here a month from now saying, crap, I forgot to pick up Wipeout. What the hell's wrong with me? Yeah, a great game. Be sure to go on the PlayStation Store and pick it up today.
Yep.
All right, making our way down the list into the home stretch here. A few more items I want to touch on. One of them being Zenith. This is a game I actually wasn't aware of until just this week, but looking at it, it looks really cool. But I'm wondering is this going to be another one of those cases of the ambitious VR developer? If they can bring to life their vision, this is going to be a great game. But what it is, Zenith is an anime-inspired VR MMO set in a futuristic fantasy world. And as you can see here in the trailer, it is just that. Very anime-inspired in a futuristic fantasy world. Looks a lot like those visuals we had last week from Nostos. But there's a lot more going on here in a different type of world, more of a cyberpunk world here than with Nostos. But they say it's going to be released on Oculus Quest, Rift, HTC Vive, Valve Index, and PSVR. And the reason why we're bringing it up this week is because it's going into crowdfunding next week. You're going to be able to catch this game on Kickstarter starting on Monday, tomorrow, August the 12th. So if this game turns out to be something that you're interested in, you may want to go on there and help pay for it. That said, this is not entirely a crowdfunded project. They do have investors. So a lot of the risk that normally comes with Kickstarter projects is mitigated. You are going to get a game from these people. Other parties have paid for it, so it's coming. But they want to bring it out on all these different platforms. They want to ensure the game lives up to their vision. So in order to do so, they're asking us to chip in more money. This game is going to feature PC play as well as VR play. It's going to feature a robust world to explore with teleportation-free locomotion. So no teleportation here. You're going to be able to move freely through this world and smoothly. They're also promising fully customizable avatars with voice modulation. So say Mr. Ruuts wants to have a female character, he can. And as he speaks, his character will speak with a female voice. Ruuts, you've often said on this program that you do like MMO games if they're done correctly. This game seems to be perfect if they can pull it off. Do you think this looks as cool as I think it looks? And is it cool enough looking to you to draw you into a crowdfunding Kickstarter campaign?
I don't know about into the Kickstarter campaign, but I definitely think it looks cool enough to check out. If anything, just to see what the worlds are like. But I'm a healer at heart, so if there's a healing class, if I can keep people alive in a battle, that would be amazing. But it definitely is something that looks good. But what if I didn't want to sound like a girl? What if I wanted to sound like a then you could use that voice modulator too. I think that's just to actually have um stuff like that added in. I think that's really cool. It will give you that immersion level, like you actually are that character. And then also when you're, I mean, good or bad, when your voice is masked, you might get into character a little bit more and have more fun with it. So
Yeah, I think it's a very cool feature. Uh, there's a lot of details on the website for this game. ZenithMMO.com for those of you who are interested. Um, the examples that they gave for the voice modulator were man, woman, and robot. So I imagine if you used your Satan voice like you just did there, that you could possibly make it into a woman Satan.
yeah, that'd be
Or
cool.
I guess you could be a gender neutral Satan in today's world. That's most likely what people are going to want to do, or a lot of people anyway. But I don't know. I got off on a tangent there.
Oh man, this world is crazy. Anyway, go
It
ahead.
is. But no, there's a lot of detail on the website. What you were saying about your healing class during raids, I absolutely believe that that's part of it. That they did give quite a bit of description about the gameplay, and it seems like it's going to be that classic RPG gameplay. There are going to be parties and raids. Um, Everything that you want from one of these games is in there. Uh, they have, like I said, they have corporate backing, so uh, you have a little bit of assurance for those people who do want to feed the Kickstarter. You don't have that usual amount of risk that you normally have, and not only that, but they have open beta right now. If you want to go play this game, I mean, I guess it may be a closed beta, but you can go sign up and apply for beta access today on zenithmmo.com. Uh, so, yeah, I would suggest that anybody who's into this type of game, I've seen a lot of these potential games coming lately, and I've looked into a lot of them. No Stos looked really cool last week, but this is really the first one that has really got me interested. This game looks cool. If they bring what they're promising to bring here, I'm definitely going to play it, and I think I'm going to like it, and I think I'm going to spend a lot of time in it. But it is only an 8-person team. There's 8 developers here working on this huge, hugely ambitious project. It does seem like they've got a lot of work done on it, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, not enough to get my early payment. So, but I do think I may sign up for the beta. What about you? You want to check it out early? If you can get early access,
Oh,
beta access.
hell yeah. And I love getting into betas. And I'm not the developer's friend in this respect because I just want to check it out. Like you're like, I want to help develop the game and get the bugs and stuff, which is a good side effect. But I just want to try it, So
Yeah, I feel a obligation if a developer gives me a key, whether it be to beta test or to review a game. I feel obligated to do so if they're kind enough to give me access.
yeah.
But that said, that's why I don't always sign up for betas. But I think I might for this one because this game looks awesome, man. I just gotta say, it looks awesome.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think so too.
So, those of you RPG lovers out there, check it out. Again, zenithmmo.com. Uh, they have a fully detailed, fleshed out website where you can sign up for the beta. And the Kickstarter starts tomorrow, Monday, August 12th. So, for those of you who want to pitch in and help out and maybe get a discounted version, I don't know what other kind of perks they're going to have on there. But definitely, if you're into this type of game, give it a look. Give it some consideration. All right. Heading down the home stretch here. Downstream VR Whitewater Kayaking is a game, another game I had no idea existed. Who knew that you could kayak in VR without a sniper rifle? This is actually a new concept. Again, when I saw the sniper rifle game, I forget what it's called. I kind of wondered, hey, why don't we have a regular kayaking game where you're just kayaking quickly down some rapids? And lo and behold, look what we have here: Downstream VR Whitewater Kayaking. Uh, this comes from Jumpstick, and they have announced this past week that it's going to be released on August 28th. Even though this trailer says spring 2019, I guess it's coming a little bit late. August 28th is definitely not spring, it is summer. That said, this is a high-speed game. It's a whitewater kayak racing game where you can race your friends down these rapids. You can get power-ups, you can do stunts, and it's scoring-based with online leaderboards. And that's pretty much the info we have on it. It's just a high-paced game or a action-filled through high-speed drifts and varying environments. Roots, this is a cool concept, in my opinion. It really is all going to come down to how much jank, in my opinion, that this game has. And price, because they released the date, they did not release the price. But for 10 or 15 bucks, I definitely think it'd be worth picking up and giving it a shot. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Even at $20, I think it would be worth it. Like I'm like you, I didn't even know this game was coming or anything about it, and when I saw it out, it just reminds me of like those arcade games that you used to play, or even console games where you're going down on tubing, or like those games were really fun. And if they can make you feel like you're in the environment, and like you said, it's fast paced, you're whipping around corners, you're able to actually maneuver, and it matters when you go around the corner, and you're drifting and you can smash into rocks. And like, I think if it's done right, and like you said, there's no jank, I think this could be really, really cool. And I don't know, I'm kind of psyched to check it out, actually.
Yeah, I like these type of outdoor sports type of games. Like for example, Rush. This game, even though it's a different style of gameplay, it reminds me of Rush. The environments look like Rush, and it's that same type of gameplay that's going to get your pulse going rather quickly. It's multiplayer, and yeah, definitely. Uh, I could see myself pairing this game with Rush in like a multiplayer gameplay party. Like if you had a bunch of friends in VR and you're skydiving or base jumping, I guess is what you do in Rush. And that game you can only play it for so long, and then you kind of want to move on to something else. I see a game like this maybe being that something else that I would move on to. Um, my only concern is this trailer here. Uh, the animations in the immediate vicinity of the boat seem to be lacking. There isn't a whole lot of water splashing up around that boat. The boat just seems kind of like it's on a different plane than the background environments. That said, the environments look really good. So it just all depends. It depends on how well it turns out. But the concept is there, in my opinion. I think this game could be a lot of fun.
I agree, and I think along the same wavelength, like a really cool, elaborate snowboarding or skiing game could be amazing in VR. Specifically snowboarding, because if you think about it, like the jumps, the twists, the turns, like, or even that 360 skateboarding game, like there's so many games and ideas, and this is similar to that type. And I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this type of game.
Yeah, man, VR's come along so far now that the not only are we getting totally unique and new genres, like we were talking about earlier in this broadcast. But now all the other existing genres of games are starting to catch up. So we're starting to get these outdoor sports games. Pretty soon, I mean, I guess sports games in general are
Mm-hmm.
probably the biggest lacking point in VR. And I guess they're probably pretty difficult to do. But whenever we start to get officially licensed NBA and NFL games, that's going to be a system seller in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, this specific genre, this outdoor sports genre of games, is really uh, something that's really cool to do in VR. And really, it's just another example of VR allowing you to do things that you don't necessarily have the chance to do in real life. I mean, uh, if I want to go kayaking, it's going to take a lot of planning and
A lot of
a
learning.
lot, yeah, a lot of learning, a lot of stuff involved with that, a lot of danger. You know, I could get killed doing stuff like this. But if I can throw down 10, 15 bucks, obviously it's not going to be like real kayaking, but I think VR is good enough now that it can provide a close enough experience to give me some idea as to what that might feel like.
Yeah.
And I just think it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, one more item to talk about this week. Lucky number 10 here, coming down the stretch, and that is another sequel, The Tower Part 2. Now, I don't know how many of you out there are familiar with The Tower. This is a game that has been out for a long time. This came out in, let's see here, the original Tower came out in 2017, I think, early 2017. And what it is it was an obstacle course, but it was like a rail based. You're on this conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt takes you up through this tower, and there's all kinds of dangers like swinging axes, and there's just all kinds of moving things that are going to kill you that you have to dodge, but you can't dodge too much because you'll go off the conveyor belt and fall to your death. And yeah, it was highly regarded for the people that did play it, liked it. It was a short experience, only 45 minutes, but the people that played it liked it. Um, not it didn't really sell a whole lot. It's not the most popular game, but it is high quality, and now we are getting a sequel. The developer of this game is a developer called Headroom One, and we've known that this sequel is coming for a little while now, but we didn't know when, and now we know when. It is coming tomorrow, August 12th, Monday. We are getting the Tower 2, and this is a completely different game from the Tower 1. This game, instead of being on a conveyor belt and being rail based, you're actually going to have locomotion in this game, and you're going to play the role of a parkour enthusiast who's part of a parkour team making their way through this city, and you're going to draw the attention of these evil drones, and the drones are going to come after you and attack you. So you're going to be moving through these obstacle courses, through these cities, fighting drones, actually shooting the drones with your sidearm as you go. And it's going to have a story mode, 60-minute story mode that you play through, which is a little bit longer than the original 45-minute campaign from the original Tower. But in addition to the 60-minute story mode, there's also 8 different parkour courses that you can play through. That's kind of a scoring based thing that you're trying to complete. That takes 3 to 6 minutes to complete each one of those, and they have varying difficulty. Roots, I think this thing here. I thought the original Tower looked cool. I first noticed it on Viveport. It's available on Viveport, but unfortunately only for Vive. so I couldn't play it on my Rift. I noticed it again on Keymailer, and I requested a review key for it. Never got any response from the developer or anything. I didn't realize at the time that it was such an old title. I mean, that explains why I didn't get a response. But I thought the original tower looked cool. I think that the sequel looks awesome. I think that this looks like what I thought that To the Top could have been. This looks like a cross between Sprint Vector and To the Top with guns and enemies. I think it absolutely looks awesome, and I'm definitely want to try this game out. What do you think about the description? What do you think about the trailer? What do you think about this game?
It looks cool. I never, like you, I'd never even really heard of the first one, and wasn't aware that it was out. There's a couple of games that we've been playing that are kind of like this. That one that Justin really liked, I can't remember the name of it, but I tried it and was really actually pretty damn tough. It looks like it's bringing a lot of good things together. Just like you said, the to the top aspect, the movements, grabbing that stuff. I would imagine as you're going, shooting drones, going up those zip lines, looks really cool, and I'm kind of intrigued to try it. I like I said, I was not even on my radar, and it's just another example of different types of games that are doing everything different than everything else, and I like it. You know, like how many games in flat games do we have that are outside the box? It's like the same cookie cutter bullshit over and over and over again. So that is one thing that we have over flat games in a sense. These VR developers are really doing a good job of thinking outside the box and trying to develop mechanics or just a different way of things that are going to set their games apart from everything else.
Yeah, it's it's really awesome because what we're seeing now is we're seeing these VR developers what they can do with a little experience under their belt. Now these guys know what they're able to do. Now they know what they can create, and um, this allows them to open up from an artistic standpoint and bring us new games, new genres, all original stuff that the world hasn't seen before. And here's another example of it. This game is a sequel, but it's nothing like the original. It's a completely different type of game. And that just speaks to what I was just saying. These guys got a game under their belt. They know what they can do now, and they're making a new game. Now, a moment ago, I kind of alluded that there might be locomotion in this game. I don't really know that. That wasn't stated. I assume because it was a parkour game that you would have locomotion, but this could be on rails as well. I don't know. It could just be that there's a jump button and a fire button. But even if there is, this game looks awesome. Even the environment. It says that it takes place in the future, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what this means is that this is it's taking place in kind of a retro futuristic um, environment, like if in the year 2000. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
All that old stuff that came out in the 80s, that these sci-fi movies that took place in the future, and their future in the year 2000 turned out to be nothing like reality. It seems like one of those, like they're going back in time to jump forward to the future, and it's a really see that's what I'm talking about right there. But it's a really cool concept for a world. Uh, Really unique gameplay elements at play here, and you get to shoot shit.
Yeah.
We've said how many times have we said that? You can't get that wrong. It's very difficult to mess up shooting stuff in VR.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely this is coming out tomorrow. I'll probably ask for a review key on this one, but if I don't get it, I'll probably just turn around and buy it. Especially, I mean, the first game was only $7, so if this one's just $7, I might not even bother with sending the email to get the review copy. I might just buy this one because my time's worth more than the $7. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for our news segment for the week. Any of the topics that happen to strike any of you, if there's anything you want to add, share with us regarding any of these topics. If there's anything that we didn't talk about that you think deserves attention, of course, as always, leave a comment down below, or better yet, join us on Discord and let's talk about it. If anything makes it onto this show, anything at all, it's because I want to talk about it. I don't just strictly cover things as a news reporter. This is not so much a news show as a discussion show. And the purpose of this show is to start the discussion. So, yeah, you guys come and join us on Discord and let's talk about it. Yeah. Anyway, as you all know, that moves us on into our game review segment where we each pick a game for review. Of course, the review will come later in the week in its own video, but we're going to each pick a game and talk about why we chose the game. Of course, we're going to start with Alex. And this week, Alex is going to review Vacation Simulator. No, actually, Alex is not going to review Vacation Simulator.
Confusing me for a second there. I was like, whoa, is he going to suddenly, hey, I'm just kidding, I'm here. No, just kidding.
Oh, it's because he's on holiday.
That's right.
No, he says he's on holiday. He's actually at home sitting on his bum playing Dirt Rally. And we all know it. You can't fool us, buddy. We know what the deal is. The jig is up. You just had to play it, didn't you? Couldn't wait till Sunday to play it. Had to play it. Anyway, no. Alex is not simulating vacation. He's having an actual vacation. And we wish him the best. We hope he's having a good one. Anyway, let's see here. So we're going to have our reviews on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. And let's start with Tuesday's game. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do my game on Tuesday. And my game being Nog. And Nog is a game that you've heard us sing the praises of many times on this show. I like it, Ruuts likes it, Alex likes it, even Mamefan chose this as his game back in the old format and spoke about it. An awesome, super creative puzzle game that can be played flat or in VR. And the reason I chose it for review this week is because it's free. It's free, but just this week, you can get this game free on the Epic Games Store. And even for those of you out there who don't want to register for the new account, trust me, this game alone is worth your time, the 5 minutes it'll take you to register on the Epic Games Store. So definitely go on there. Those of you who already have an account, it's only 7 days. Go right now, claim your free copy.
I'm going right now.
Good, you should.
Yeah.
Go on there, claim your free copy of Nog. If you want to know more about the game, tune in on Tuesday as we review it. Also, on my channel, Lethal Weasel VR, I'm going to be uploading the individual levels. I've already got a couple up on there right now, and there are going to be more coming throughout the week, so keep an eye out for that. But anyway, moving on to Wednesday, and on Wednesday, we are going to have Ruuts' game. Ruuts, what did you pick to review on Wednesday and why?
All right. So I picked, if I can get it here, Rick and Morty VR. And I picked this one because I think it's something, even though it was so well received and very popular, it's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit, for at least for new people. And we're getting ready to go into the long-awaited Rick and Morty. Is it season 6? I believe. I can't remember. I just know that I've been waiting for 2 or 3 years now for the new Rick and Morty season, and I'm a big fan, and I think this is a really good game.
Cool. Yeah. So Rick and Morty VR. I actually learned some stuff about this game that I didn't know before. I made some false assumptions about it, and we'll get into that on Wednesday as we review Rick and Morty VR Virtual Reality. All right, so there you have it, folks. That's our show for the week. Um, again, just to run down the week of content on the Virtual Strangers channel. Of course, today and every Sunday, our Sunday show, Virtual Strangers, premieres on YouTube. We aim for 12:30 Eastern time. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out that way, but if we don't get it up by 12:30, just hang out for a little while, and it'll be up shortly thereafter. But for those of you who want to chat, who want to experience the show with us, you can do so by showing up 12:30 Eastern Standard Time every Sunday and watching the Sunday show with us. Monday is our topical discussion. This is Alex's show that he normally hosts, and he normally prepares the topic, does all the prep work for it. Whereas I prepare most of the stuff on the Sunday show as far as what we're going to be covering. Alex does all the preparation for the Monday show. And we thought about canceling the Monday show since he's on vacation. But instead of doing that, what we decided to do is to do a little bit less formal of a topic this week. Something a little less serious, a little more fun. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a fun conversation. And here's what we're going to talk about. This week, we're going to talk about television and movie franchises that we would like to see in VR. I know we've all done this where we fantasized about our favorite movie or our favorite television show coming to VR in the form of either a game or an experience, or even just like a VR video, like a movie. It could be anything. This is our topic. We're going to have fun with it. And both Ruuts and I have come up with a list of TV shows and movies, franchises that we would love to see in VR. We've narrowed these lists down to 5 each. So we're going to have 10 different franchises tomorrow. So tune in for that conversation. It's going to be a fun one. And like the Sunday show, hopefully it'll be the start of the conversation and you guys can chime in and join in it with us on Discord. All right, so the Sunday show, 12:30 premiere. The Monday show, TV shows and movies that would be awesome in VR. Tuesday, we're going to review my game, which is Nog. Again, free on the Epic Games Store. Get yours today. And then to round out the week, on Wednesday, we're going to do Ruuts' review of Rick and Morty Virtual Reality. All right. With that said, that's going to wrap up our show for the week. For those of you who have made it all the way through to the end of this show, thank you so much for showing up this week and every week and supporting the show. We're growing, guys. We're growing slowly but surely, and we have no illusions about that. It's due to you guys helping spread the word. So thank you for watching. Thanks for spreading the word. For those of you out there who are watching this for the first time or are a newer viewer and have yet to subscribe, please subscribe. Click the notification bell so you can keep up with our nearly daily content on this show. I know it's still kind of amateurish, but we're getting better every day, every week, week after week. The content keeps getting better, and we're going to keep churning it out. So again, thanks to everyone. Like, subscribe, and yeah, for Ruuts, I'm Wes. Thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow, friends. Bye-bye.
And my wife is dead.
Right. Oh, all right.